My name is Corey Arakaki, and I have over 20 years of lived experience with Type I Bipolar Disorder. In this video, I'm going to tell you about some of the coping strategies that I have found to work out the best for me to keep myself and my mental health as healthy as possible. First off is medication. If you have a psychiatric illness that requires medication, such as bipolar disorder, major depressive disorder, schizophrenia, PTSD, or any other type of mental illness that requires medication, you have to make sure you have a trustworthy relationship between yourself and your provider. And that is the most important thing that you can do for yourself moving forward. So, those providers can either be a psychiatrist or a nurse practitioner. And one of the last things you want to do is to stop taking your medication without telling your doctor. Because if the doctor doesn't know that you stopped the medication because of very bad side effects, they're not going to have a complete picture of knowing what's going on with you and really understand how the medication is affecting you and your mental health. So that is the first thing you really have to establish early on into your treatment. You have to find a provider that you feel comfortable with, a provider who really has your best interests in mind, and that you feel like that you can come to them with any side effects that the medication is causing you and how it is affecting you in life. The second most important thing that you can do for yourself is to get enough sleep. And most doctors will say that 7 to 8 hours each night is the right amount. Because sleep on its own is a very protective barrier against exacerbating the symptoms of your mental illness. So, for example, if you have major depressive disorder, lack of sleep is only going to make you feel more depressed. If you have bipolar disorder, lack of sleep could precipitate into a manic episode. And finally, if you have schizophrenia, poor sleep is going to exacerbate the positive symptoms of the illness, such as delusions and hallucinations. Kevin Hines, a mental health advocate who survived jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, says that 23 minutes of rigorous exercise each day is enough to give him 12 hours of elevated mood whenever he is in a bipolar depressive state. And you don't have to go out there and train for marathons or to lift 100 pounds at the gym. It can be something as simple as going up and down a flight of stairs, as long as you get your heart rate elevated and as long as you're picking up a good sweat. And just by doing that for a little over 20 minutes per day, that is enough to help offset the depression and to really elevate your mood and get you into a better place when things aren't working out the way that you want them to. Finally, there's reaching out or finding a sense of community. Now, one of the casualties of mental illness is that it'll often strain or break relationships with your family and friends. And if that's the case, the last thing you want to do is to isolate yourself. So, what you have to do is you have to do things such as going to support groups, maybe going to a 12-step program or participating in your church. You have to do things to protect you from loneliness because that is one of the most common ingredients or isolating things when you're experiencing a mental illness. And that is something that you do not want to go through on your own. So it is critical that you find your tribe, that you find your community that you can fit into. People have been through what you're going through. People are not going to judge you. People who know that they can help you out through these rough times because they've been there themselves. So, if anything, one of the most important things that you can do is to maintain and forge healthy relationships because that is going to be very protective against doing any things that would be really detrimental for you and the rest of your life.